After decades of darkness, a single spark of truth flickers on Virginia's Colonial Parkway. DNA, invisible, patient, finally gives up a name. Alan Wade Wilmer Sr. is identified as a prime suspect in the infamous Colonial Parkway murders. For 36 years, families waited for the face behind the horror. Now, at last, they have one. Wilmer, a local fisherman, died in 2017, meaning he'll never face justice in a courtroom. But forensic genealogy tied his DNA to the 1987 double homicide of 20-year-old David Knobling and 14-year-old Robin Edwards, as well as the 1989 rape and murder of 29-year-old Teresa Terry Lynn Howell. This breakthrough is a victory for modern science and a bittersweet relief for some families. After years of living in fear and uncertainty, they finally know who is responsible, at least for some of these crimes. A stunning twist? Alan Wilmer Sr. wasn't a stranger to the investigation. Decades ago, he had even been on law enforcement's radar, reportedly suspect number 1 in 2 of the Colonial Parkway murders. Shockingly, he passed an FBI polygraph test back then and walked free. A potential killer slipped right through the cracks of the 1980s investigation. It's a haunting revelation. The man who may have stalked lovers on the Parkway was questioned and released, only truly unmasked by DNA long after his own death. But even as one mystery seems solved, so many questions remain. Wilmer's identification opens a door to new uncertainty. He has not been linked to the other Colonial Parkway victims, meaning the majority of this case is still unresolved. The Colonial Parkway nightmare is not over. 4 young couples were targeted between 1986 and 1989. Wilmer's DNA accounts for Robin and David's murders. But what about the others? In October 1986, 27-year-old Kathy Thomas and 21-year-old Rebecca Dowski were found brutally slain in Kathy's Honda along the Parkway, strangled with their throats cut. In April 1988, Keith Call, 20, and Cassandra Sandy Haley, 19, vanished after a college date. Their car was found at a Parkway overlook, but the couple themselves have never been found. And in September 1989, 18-year-old Anna Maria Phelps and 21-year-old Daniel Lauer disappeared on a drive. A month later, their decomposed bodies were discovered in a wooded area off the highway. None of these 3 double homicides have been tied to Alan Wilmer Sr. Those killers, or killer, are still unidentified. The Colonial Parkway remains shrouded in mystery, even now. Was it ever truly one case at all? If Wilmer didn't kill those 6 other young people, could more than one predator have been stalking Virginia's lovers' lanes? For years, many assumed a single serial killer was behind all the Colonial Parkway murders. The FBI and Virginia State Police long operated under that theory. But as details emerged, doubts grew. The differences in MO were stark. One couple brutally stabbed, another shot, another simply vanished without a trace. Some investigators even theorized that 2 perpetrators might have worked together to subdue and kill the victims. The level of control over these strong young couples seemed almost superhuman to achieve alone. Could a pair of killers have teamed up for these crimes? Or were entirely separate murderers at work, their crimes only loosely linked by geography and victim profile? The question of multiple killers has haunted this case for decades, and Alan Wilmer's partial involvement only complicates the picture. One enduring theory involves an impersonator posing as law enforcement. Early on, the FBI quietly suggested the murderer might have pretended to be a cop or authority figure. In the very first case, Kathy Thomas's wallet was found pulled out of her purse, as if she was preparing to show her ID to someone in authority. Perhaps Kathy and Becky thought they were pulled over by a park ranger or police officer on that dark, isolated road. The idea that a killer could exploit trust by flashing a badge or blue light struck fear into the community. Couples wondered if a fake cop was tricking victims into stopping in safe-looking places, only to turn those moments into tragedy. This theory has never been proven, but it remains one of the most chilling possibilities. It serves as a stark warning. Sometimes the most dangerous person is the one who pretends to protect. For the families, this journey has been agony. Some have at last received a measure of closure they've prayed for. When Alan Wilmer's name was revealed, the Knobling and Edwards families said they felt a sense of relief and justice after living in a vacuum of the unknown for 36 years. At least they know who killed their loved ones, and they take comfort that Wilmer can never hurt anyone else. Terry Howell's loved ones, too, express gratitude that answers finally arrive, but heartbreak that nothing will bring Terry back. The void she left in their lives is inexpressible, they said. Closure, it turns out, is not the same as healing. Yet other families have no such closure. The relatives of Kathy Thomas and Becky Dowski, of Keith Call and Sandy Haley, of Anna Maria Phelps and Daniel Lauer, they are still waiting. They still wake up every day with the weight of not knowing. Kathy's brother, Bill Thomas, became an outspoken advocate, spending decades pushing for answers and keeping the spotlight on the case. Keith's sister, Joyce Call, stood right beside him, attending true crime panels and media events to remind the world that this mystery still cries out for justice. These families have turned their pain into purpose, but the pain is always there. Every anniversary, every birthday that never came, they are reminded of the empty chairs at the table and the justice still denied. In the absence of official answers, the public and the media have filled the void with theories and reminders. Over the years, the Colonial Parkway Murders became a grim legend in American true crime lore, a dark puzzle that armchair detectives and experts alike have tried to solve. The case has been featured on countless TV programs and documentaries. It inspired books like A Special Kind of Evil and a recent Oxygen Network series, Lover's Lane Murders, revisiting the evidence and suspects. News outlets mark each passing year with retrospective articles, and popular podcasts dissect every twist in the investigation. In 2018, family members even spoke at CrimeCon, a national true crime convention, to share their story and plea for help. Through all this exposure, one thing has stayed constant. The public is captivated and horrified in equal measure. These murders struck a nerve, tapping into our collective fear of the unknown predator and our empathy for the young lives cut short. The Colonial Parkway Murders live on in media and memory as a cautionary tale of danger lurking in the shadows of even the most scenic places. Indeed, this case became a cautionary tale for a generation. In the late 1980s, lovers' lanes across Virginia emptied out as word spread about the killer on the loose. Parents warned their teenagers about parking in secluded spots at night. Drivers on the parkway found themselves glancing in the rearview mirror, wondering if headlights behind them might be a threat in disguise. The idea that a person or persons preyed on young couples in such peaceful settings shattered the community's sense of safety. Even today, the Colonial Parkway Murders remind us to be vigilant. It's a haunting lesson that evil can hide in plain sight and that trust can be manipulated by those with dark intentions. So, where does the investigation stand now? Authorities stress that the case is not closed. The DNA match for Alan Wilmer Sr. was a huge leap forward, but there is more work to be done. The FBI and Virginia State Police continue to sift through leads and re-examine old evidence with new technology. They've publicly urged anyone who knew Alan Wilmer or recalls any suspicious encounters in that era to come forward, even now. After all, relationships and loyalties change over time. Someone who stayed silent decades ago might be ready to talk today. Investigators are also looking beyond Wilmer, keeping open minds about other potential suspects for the unsolved murders. In recent years, additional DNA evidence from a Colonial Parkway crime scenes has been analyzed, raising hopes that more genetic clues could crack the remaining cases. Perhaps the same genetic genealogy that identified Wilmer can one day identify who killed Kathy and Becky, or find where Keith and Sandy ended up. Hope remains that eventually every victim's story will have an ending, and every killer will be unmasked. As we conclude this series, we're left with both answers and aching voids. A few pieces of this puzzle have been fitted into place, but the picture is far from complete. The Colonial Parkway still holds many secrets in its quiet, wooded bends. The families of the victims hold on to memories and wait for the day those secrets are revealed. This saga stands as a testament to persistence. Investigators, journalists, and loved ones refusing to let the case go cold. And it stands as a memorial to 8 young lives stolen in the dark of night. They will not be forgotten. Now, we turn the questions over to you. What do you think happened on the Colonial Parkway? Was it the work of one calculating serial killer, or were multiple murderers haunting that idyllic road? Do you believe someone was impersonating a police officer, luring victims into a trap? Or could the truth be something that still hasn't been uncovered? We want to hear your theories. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep this conversation alive. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of Virginia's most chilling unsolved mysteries. It's cases like these that remind us why we seek the truth, no matter how elusive, until the full truth is brought to light. The Colonial Parkway murders remain a stark reminder that justice, though delayed, must never be denied. Let's keep the memory of these victims alive, keep pushing for answers, and as always, stay safe out there.